this is the final date of completion of WBS, and it can be closed now. So this is what we call final confirmation. And once all say one WBS had budget of 5 crores and we have consumed all of it, and it is also year end, it is March 2020. So what we do, all the cost we settle it to AUC and then to fixed asset. So all the cost that has been booked on the WBS is settled. We have to close the records, right? For the financial generation of financial statements,
Yeah.
like we file ITR every year. So we have to do project settlement every year or every month. So all the capex and opex projects are first settled to AUC, that is asset under construction, and then to fixed asset. While customer projects are directly settled to fixed asset.
Mm.
So what is asset under construction? So for capex and opex projects, as they are long duration projects, right? So as we are constructing, say, expressway or a real estate project. So my asset is under construction for a long duration, 3 years of time.
Yeah.
So that is why we settle cost to AUC and then to fixed asset. And for the customer project, say you are, as we spoke about Britannia. So say you have sold 1,000 packets of Britannia's biscuit to some customer, and you have directly taken revenue from the customer and booked it on the WBS. That directly goes into fixed asset, because once the sale is done, you got the money, you can directly set it to fixed asset, right? Because that is not a long-term deal with the customer. So in this, as the construction goes on and on for years to come. So that is why we do settlement to AUC and then to fixed asset for capex and opex.
This is nothing but tracing the costs to the actual asset. So what was spent on what?
Right, right. This is not tracing, this is settlement. This is sort of closure of this WBS. And you won't
Oh.
be using this
Uh-huh.
and you won't be using this WBS once all the cost has been settled to AUC and then to fix. We'll
Mm.
technically be closing this WBS.
Mm. Okay.
So as I told you, at first we'll divide our project into WBS elements, several work breakdown structures. Then these WBS elements would be having networks. Under that, we'll be creating activities. So as I told you, we'll be dividing the project into several WBSs. So for each and every minute activity, we cannot create WBS, right? So say there is an activity of doing finishing work in some residential unit. There are thousands of residential units. So there is
Mhm.
one activity, finishing work. So in residential unit, say 1001, there is finishing work, which is an activity. So we'll create activity for smaller scope of work involved. We'll not create WBS for that. If you want to go in detail, you have to create activities after WBSS, right?
Mm.
So to
Mhm.
assign relationship to these activities, we create networks. So we'll see what type of relationships do we have for activities. There are four type of activities in SAP PS. The first one is internally processed. Second one is externally processed. Third is general cost activities. Fourth is service activities. So how do we differentiate them? Internally processed activities are those if developer of this project is using its own resources for construction of the project. Okay,
Mm.
using its own machinery, its own manpower to construct the project. Those activities will be called as internally processed activity. This developer has outsourced construction of the project to some other subcontractor. All the activities in the project structure would be externally processed activity, because
Mhm.
no manpower or machinery of the developer has gone into the construction, so those would be externally processed activities.
Mhm.
Third would be general cost activities. That is, say, general cost activities are generally admin type of activities. Say you have launched a project and several people have come up to check what are the offers you are giving in the market, when are you launching this project, when do you have possession and all. So you will be doing marketing and stuff, right? So those would be general cost activities. The cost that would go into such type of events would be booked under general cost activities. Fourth is service. Say you are giving service to someone for HVAC works or for some finishing works. So you have outsourced the service to some vendor for doing certain work. So those would be called service type of activities.
Mhm.
So they won't have any scope of work. That would be directly a service. Say you have to supply all HVAC equipments. So that would be supply and fix at the site. Those
Mhm.
would be service type of activity. So this is the differentiation of the four. Please let me know if there is any question. In case I'm moving a bit fast, you can.
Sure. So these networks are unique to the WBSS, or the networks can be part of multiple WBSS?
So it can be either ways. You can have single network first WBS and then
Mm.
you create entire breakdown structure, or you
Mhm.
can have multiple network under each and every WBS, then have activities. Purpose and the use of both the types will be the. So we generally use a single network
Mhm.
under first WBS and then we create the project structure. Networks are generally used to define relationships to the activities. Like as I told you, there will be 50 to hundreds of WBSs and activities under that. So we have to
Mm.
define that after which activity, what activity will start. So there is
Mm.
one activity at sixth floor, and there is one activity at say second floor,
Mhm.
and third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So you have to define relationship that once my activity at fifth floor is finished, then I'll move to sixth, so that the system would be able to calculate the finish date of the project.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we'll get a bit clear once we move to the system.
Okay.
So as you told me that you have experience in this insurance side of project from
Mhm.
FI side, right? So
Mhm.
are you aware of this controlling area, company code, business area, and all these?
Yes, but not to the basics. I know they
Okay.
exist, but it was already done in the projects. I have not dealt
Okay,
with.
no problem. We'll go on to that as well. So, as you are looking at the breakdown, these WBSs have certain inputs that we have to give. As we are currently looking at the development real estate project, say the developer's name is Lodha or DLF or any such entity. So Lodha would not be having a single project in Delhi. They'll have n number of projects across India, across globe, right? Because
Mm.
those are MNC. So
Mhm.
Lodha would be my controlling area. I'm just giving you examples of what these terms are.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we have controlling area would be Lodha. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
Then there's company code. What would be my company code? Say Lodha is doing one real estate project in India and one in US. So
Mm.
my company code would be 1000 for India and 2000 for US, which I'll be
Mhm.
giving to this WBS.
Mhm.
So while I'll be creating a project in SAP PS, while I create WBS, I'll be assigning controlling area is 1000, which goes for Lodha. Controlling area is 1000, that means Lodha India. Okay, if I do
Mhm.
2000, that would be Lodha US because Lodha would be monitoring all the projects in SAP PS, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's different system for all the n number of projects. It will be one for all.
Mhm.
So whenever you'll be creating WBS, you'll be assigning controlling area, company code. Company code would be country based, US, India, Germany, whatsoever. Then there
Mhm.
would be business area. In India, there are 10 projects in Delhi, 10 in UP, 10 in Karnataka. So that would
Mm.
be your business areas. Like
Okay.
say north, south, east, and west would be your business areas. Then we
Mhm.
have profit center and plant that would go for the specific real estate project in that particular state or city. So as we were in Delhi, in Gurgaon, we have this real estate project. So
Mm.
my plant would be 1000 for Gurgaon, and
Mm.
there's certain profit center code which is 8 or 10 characters long for that particular plant
Mm.
of this
Mhm.
project.
Okay.
So this is how the terminology goes for all these, and these are created by FI team in the system.
Mm.
PS module does not have organizational structure of its own. It uses organizational structure of FI module.
Mm.
These
Mhm.
are the organizational structures which are created by FI and MM team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, plans are created by MM team because they look after procurement and everything. The
Mm.
rest all are created by FI team.
FIT. Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
we directly use these and assign these to the WBS that we create.
Mm. Okay. So any cross currency or cross country like reportings and all that, that is all coming out of FI at the controlling level or controlling area level and so.
All the reports would be coming under PS only.
Mm-hmm.
While executing the report, you'll be giving an input of your company code.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
the report would be all in general at first. Then you'll be giving. There are several filters based on which you'll be able to drive the report for a specific company code or a plant.
Okay.
So these are the terminologies that we assign to the WBS,
Mm-hmm.
which are created by FI and MM.
Okay.
So as I told you, PS does not have organizational structure of its own. We
Mm.
use FI teams org structures to assign to the WBS.
Okay.
So this is an example of how we create a project structure. First, we'll see at the basic level, then we'll see how to do that in the system. So again, we have taken an example of residential project. At the top, we have project definition. Residential project is your project definition. Then we create WBSS. So at level one, we have three WBS. That is apartments, then townhomes, and then single family homes. So under
Mm.
this project, there are three types of units which we have categorized at level one. Now, for example and your reference, we have only further subdivided apartments into drill down only apartments only for your understanding.
Mm.
So apartments have been again divided into Blue Harbor, Indigo, and Art House. This is your level 2 WBS.